This video will demonstrate the new patient monitoring feature in CS Model Plus version 4. In this example, I've already performed the automatic segmentation, and the teeth have been identified. I have also created two setups: Simulation 0 to simulate aligner treatment with limited tooth movement, and Simulation 1 for an optimal treatment plan with more advanced treatment options that are not possible with aligner therapy. As you can see, there is a new patient monitoring tab in version 4. When I click on it, the current acquisition is displayed. In the model pane, I can see that the current acquisition is selected, and I can also expand the pane to see the two simulations that I previously created in the Setup tab. I'll click on the Show Hide icon to display each simulation. Simulation 0 appears in blue, and Simulation 1 appears in purple, and are superimposed over the current acquisition. I can click on the purple color box to open the color options, and I can select a more visible color. Now I can more easily identify the superimposition of both simulations over the current acquisition. I can adjust the slider bar to change the opacity of the simulation to compare the two treatment setups. I can also access the visibility tools to modify the display of the models as needed. The base and gingiva can also be removed so I can focus only on the dentition. I'll review the superimposition in the occlusal view. I can also view the individual slices. I can click and drag the blue marker along the curve of the arch to view the slices of the superimposed datasets. I can also show or hide each simulation to further refine the view. There are two superimposition viewing modes: the color overlay, which is currently displayed, and a second mode called the distance map. I'll begin by restoring the model display by adding the bases and gingiva. Next, I'll click on the distance map, which allows for the comparison of the two models. You can see that I'm viewing the current acquisition as the ending point, with Simulation 0 as the starting point. I can click the up-down arrow button to view the distance map in reverse. The current acquisition is now displayed with a color map that represents the treatment shown in Simulation 0. I can update the view to show the full jaw. The color map helps determine how much tooth movement is needed to go from the current situation to the simulation. Red indicates that more movement is needed, and green indicates that little or no movement is needed. Here you can see that the molars will not move as they are green, but the premolars and incisors require movement as they appear in yellow and red. As you recall, we also have a second simulation for treatment without aligners. So instead of comparing the current situation with the aligner simulation, I can select Simulation 1 to compare the current with the optimal treatment. You can see that Simulation 1 involves a significant amount of tooth movement as compared with the aligner treatment in Simulation 0. In addition to comparing the current acquisition to existing setups, I can also import another acquisition for comparison. In this example, I have a progress appointment acquisition that I would like to compare with the current one, which was acquired at the patient's initial examination appointment. It will take a moment to load the datasets. As you can see, the current dataset is displayed, and a warning message appears explaining that you cannot select the same acquisition twice, and to please select another one to import. Once all the datasets are loaded, notice a second acquisition is available. I'll select the second acquisition, which is the one that was acquired at a 5-month progress check appointment. By superimposing this dataset with the current or initial one, I can gauge how treatment is progressing. I'll click OK to import the 5-month progress scanned dataset. The patient monitoring wizard opens. First, I'll confirm that I have imported the correct dataset. Next, I'll need to complete the automatic tooth detection, and finally, I'll complete the superimposition of the current acquisition with the imported one. When I've determined that I've selected the correct dataset, I'll click Next. CS Model Plus will automatically detect the teeth and will perform the segmentation on the model. Since the scan I'm importing was acquired 5 months later, CS Model Plus needs to re-identify and resegment the teeth so it can compare the scanned dataset to the initial scan. The amount of time it takes to perform the segmentation varies based on the configuration of the computer. Be certain that your computer is equipped with the recommended system requirements for optimal performance. Once the automatic detection is completed, the segmented teeth are displayed. I'll verify that all teeth are segmented correctly. I noticed that the maxillary right second molar wasn't properly identified, so I'll click the button to modify the automatic tooth detection. Next, I'll select Edit Margin Lines, and then I'll select tooth number 17 from the tooth chart. The tooth will be displayed, and I'll simply click to mark and select the margin line of the tooth to correctly identify the molar. I'll double-check the orientation of each tooth and make a few additional minor adjustments, and then I'll click Next. The final step is to review the superimposition and verify that the two datasets are properly aligned. I can review the occlusal surface of both the mandible and the maxilla. I'll drag the color overlay slider bar to toggle between the initial dataset and the superimposition. I can also apply the distance map to the superimposition. I can see that the molars are mostly green, indicating little to no change, and that the incisors are displayed in yellow, indicating that movement is required. I'll click OK, and now a third dataset has been added to the model list. I'll select the color overlay, and then I'll select red to display the 5-month progress scan along with the initial scan and the 2 treatment proposals. I can disable the aligner and optimal scan to view only the 5-month progress scan. I can change the color again as needed to better emphasize the tooth movement between the initial scan and the 5-month progress scan. I can also view the distance map to view the amount of tooth movement between the initial scan and the 5-month progress scan. I can display the full jaw to view the model in occlusion. I can also compare the 5-month progress scan with the aligner simulation to see if the treatment is on track and progressing well. This concludes the demonstration of the patient monitoring feature in CS Model Plus version 4.